This is the reports analysis for a stock. Right here, I just add the trading view widgets which summarize the company, and tells a little bit about how much has moved. It's just an introduction of how the stock is moving. And I added some information here, like what country is it from, the market and sector and ETR of the stock. So in this case, Intel is related to SPY and the Qs, and also from the technology ETF sector. Usually moves like 0.79 cents. Its current ATR, which sector and which industry. In this case, it is the same, but this is extract from this information and the current earnings date. As we can see, today is July 25th. So Intel released earnings yesterday after market hours. The first section, it's to identify the interest in the stock moving for the day, as this workflow is for day trading. We can see here the headline count, and clearly since June 5th, the news released today was quite big in relation to that. So it provides support to the information that the stock's moving and has pre-market volume, and the news release is current. There are times when this is not the case. We can see some pre-market volume with no news. So that's a red flag. And right here we can see the reaction in after hours and pre-markets today. So it's visible to actually see how the news reacted and how much in terms of ATR it has moved. So it has moved like 2 times its ATR already, and the volume during pre-market and after hours. So in the total, of course, this is in relation to the relative volume on past sessions. So we can see that one information supports the other. Right here, I created a way to check the headlines. You can check it through the headlines and select some of them for a large language model to summarize information. Right here, I already ran it because it takes a little bit, like 2 or 3 minutes to run. Depends on how many news you choose. It provides a summary of the relevant news, so you don't have to go to every news piece of information to know what's going on. Right here, it already gives you the information of what's going on, and with, in this case, Intel. So you can check all the news if you want, but this is an easier way to find information. So this is an implementation that I did using a large language model, and this use agents to extract, summarize, and format the information. So this is pretty helpful. Following, we have a technical analysis overview of the stock in multiple time frames. As we can see here, the same trend score I used in the market session is here. We can see like Intel is like moving sideways inside the bands despite the negative news. So from this information, you can see that there is some kind of support around here. We could look for a short trade down to this area and a bounce from this area. It starts to, by looking at this chart, you start to see possible trades you could take during the day. And as we move forward, we narrow which side we probably gonna take. Right here, we can see that the SPY is moving higher, it's stronger in multiple time frames. The trend score is high. The technology sector is also high. So this starts to give us a direction that bounce trade would be a better idea than the short trade. This information here, it shows how Intel has moved on past 6 events of high average volume. As we can see, it tends to drop lower and then bounce back, which supports the decision to the short trade. Even after 5 days or more, it gaps down, but it moves higher. It has this tendency. So this is a quantitative analysis of how the stock has behaved on the past 6 events. In this case, it's automatically. Oh, my English is not working. Calculated. Right here, we can see how investors are positioned on the stock since last earnings. So basically, this is the close for the past 3 months or 6 days. So you can see how since last earnings, there's a buying position for investors, which supports the gap lower for the move on not so good earnings. So it's just a way to top down the information we got from the screener on the prior session. So right here we can see like today's reaction, how Intel has performed on recent earnings. And right here we can see that it moved lower but bounced back up. For a day trading strategy, a bounce up would be the choice. Again, it happens right here. As we can see, it moved lower and back up. So in this case, it did not, but we got a 2 out of 3 that the bounce is also a better strategy. Here we look on similar gaps on earnings. So we look for earnings days where the stock gap lower. And again, we don't have the intraday information in this case, but we can see here that it has closed on the green when it gap lower. Is a 3 out of 4. So again, it supports the decision to go for the bounce trade instead of the short trade on this case. And here we can see how it performed on similar gaps. So in this case, the report go and research similar gaps. In this case, the tolerance is okay. It keeps looping until it finds at least 4 to show, and it increases the tolerance. So how similar is this gap? It's very similar to the gap we're seeing, and it's showing how it's behaving. So again, we got a 2 out of 4 that it's a bounce. So this would be a 50% chance, but from the other 2 information, we would choose the bounce instead of the short selling trade. And in the end here, we have a liquidity score based on volume, the calculated spread, the float and this is shares floating, percentage floating. So with this information, I upload this to a spreadsheet when I'm doing the research. So I have a way to quantify this liquidity scores, and helps me choose which one from my watching list I should be focusing on. Trying to actually narrow down to like 5 or 3, between 3 and 5 stocks to actually be watching during the day. So this is the final step in my process. So this tool was created to help me on this workflow. So as you can see, it's a narrow down approach, and that's it. It's getting information from multiple sources, put it all together, instead of having to go through all this in separate places. I just put it all in one simple report that is accessible through the stock screener. So we can click here, and it will download it's downloading the information on the spot, and it's gonna generate the information in a couple seconds here. It doesn't take that long to load. So it's right there. Usually I load like this. We can see the news reaction. Right here you can see that there is not much volume on this one. And usually when I see something like this, I don't go any further. So here we can generate, if I decided to deep down the research, I click on these buttons and the workflow goes on. So this is, as you can see, it's pretty easy to go from the stock screener, the previous information, to the research on the stock. So this is a pretty useful tool to stock selection and research that I developed. So this is the project. If you have any questions, you can mail me or comment on the YouTube channel. Okay.